Good morning, church. Uh, Good afternoon, good evening. It all depends on what time you watch this video. Um, Good day. I hope you are doing well as you watch this video, um, considering all things. Um, Before I do get started with this video, I'd like to just give a shout out, a birthday shout out to Julie Smith. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday to Julie. Holly Warren, happy birthday to you as well, and Andy Howard. Happy birthday. You guys, I think everyone that has had a birthday during this quarantine deserves like one major birthday. I mean, we got to make up for that some way somehow. But it's been nice to see how creative people get with these birthdays, finding different things to do throughout this time. So, happy birthday to you all. Well, who can guess where I am at? You got it. I'm in the auditorium here at Conestoga Valley Church of Christ. And this is the picture of the auditorium as of today. And I'm all alone here by myself, as you can see. Um, it's kind of, how do I put it? I miss you guys. It's sad. I miss you guys. I can't wait till we're all back together, singing songs, praises to our God, fellowshipping, and just being together. I can't wait. And I'm sure that you can't wait either. So this is the feeling right now. I'm here by myself, except for the guy that's cutting the grass right now. Um, but this is where I'm at. And so this was my. I wanna take a moment and just be real with you for a second. Um, Earlier this week, Monday in particular, actually, um, this was kind of like the feeling that I had. Um, I felt alone. And I know it's not an uncommon feeling. I know that many of us are feeling this or having moments of loneliness or feeling alone. Um, and I have a wife and kids. And so I shouldn't be feeling this way, but yet I do from time to time, right? And so Monday was one of those days that I struggled with feeling that. But it's not uncommon. And really, that feeling of loneliness, it's a dangerous spot to be in, I think. Uh, it's, uh, the evil one likes to attack in those moments and likes to fill your head with lies, likes to fill your head with things that are not true, and so, you you get stuck in your head sometimes, and that's a dangerous place to be. And I don't know about you, but I tend to isolate myself, um, and I tend to kind of hide away. I don't really want to talk to anyone, and I'm just in my mind a lot in those moments that I feel that way. And so maybe you can relate, Um, and so Mondays usually my day to be off. And so I try to do a couple things, just watching movies is good. And so, Monday was Star Wars Day. And so I watched the new Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker. And I thought it was interesting in that movie. One of the things that was said was the enemy wins. The enemy wins by making us think we are alone. That's what he said. The enemy wins by making us think that we are alone. And I thought about that and feeling that way, and just thought to myself, that's true. If we give in to those lies that Satan fills our heads with, then yeah, the enemy wins at that point, right? Then we get this feeling of defeat and whatnot. But we're not alone. We are not alone, and it's so good. I have the D group, and I'm just so glad that I have people in my life that can speak words of life. People that I can call when I do feel like that. And if you don't have that kind of discipling relationship, I encourage you to have that, especially through these times. Reach out to someone, develop that if you don't have it. Um, we need that. We need those relationships. And so I'm thankful for the guys in my D group. I'm thankful for the church. The phone calls that I have received throughout the weeks have been very encouraging to me. And so, needless to say, I miss you all. I can't wait till we're all together, right? But I'm very thankful that I was able to reach out and talk to someone, and so it's interesting. One of the guys in my D group, he a couple weeks ago, he said something that kind of stuck with me, and it's he talked about having an attitude of gratitude when he does feel like that, and I thought that was really good, and I actually put that into practice this past Monday, and it worked. It helped to take the focus off that lonely feeling, and to focus on the things that I do have, right? Counting my blessings. And so I think it's important that we count our blessings. I'm alive, my eyes are open. I'm speaking right now into this camera. That's a blessing. I woke up today. Um, there's so many things that God has blessed us with, even throughout this pandemic, that may feel like we're in despair, and there's troubles, but God has blessed us so much more. And so it made me think of a psalm. So I would like to share this psalm with you, Psalm of David. Beautiful psalm. It's Psalm 13. And so I'm going to read it to you, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But if you know David, you know all the stresses that he had in his life, all the things that he had to go through. And this man was king. So he had stresses that I can't relate to, but I can only imagine the kind of stresses that he had. But he was a man like me, he was a man he was a human being just like us. And so he went through emotions. He went through feelings of despair. He went through distress. And so you see that in some of his psalms. So in particular in Psalm 13, you can see that. And it says, starting in verse 1, it's 6 verses, but they're power verses. Starting in verse 1, it says, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me?" And you see how he keeps repeating this, how long, and it really emphasizes the despair that is there, and him waiting on the Lord, right? He's seeking the Lord. He's looking, he's asking for him, "Lord, where are you?" Right? And sometimes we feel like that. "Lord, where are you? How long? How long, Lord?" And and he talks about in verse 2, wrestling with his thoughts, right? David's in his head. He's wrestling with all these thoughts, and then this anxiety, and this is human emotions. This is stuff that we go through, right? We wrestle with our thoughts at times, and so we feel this sorrow. And so David, he went through it as well. And then we read on in verses 3 and 4, and he says, "Look on me and answer, Lord my God, give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death. And my enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall." We see here David, it's a cry, a plea. "Lord, come and save me. Lord, give light to my eyes. The enemy is here. The enemy is at me." Right? He says, "Oh, I will sleep in death. My enemy will say, I have overcome him." So he's pleading, he's looking onto the Lord, he's seeking the Lord. He's not looking at the enemy for answers, he's seeking the Lord for salvation, right? And then we read in verses 5 and 6, and he says, but I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me." This is a complete attitude shift, right? It kind of reminds me of that attitude of gratitude, kind of. He completely changed his tone into an attitude of gratitude. And he says, Lord, I trust, but right? He had the choice. He made that choice. It's in David still had the choice to make. And he says, I will trust in your unfailing love. He will trust in God's promises. He will trust in his unfailing love, right? Because God's covenant love remains. God does not change like shifting shadows. And our hearts can rejoice in that. David rejoiced in knowing this. He rejoices in his salvation. And so we too can rejoice in this salvation. And sing and sing praise to the Lord. Sing praise to our God. There were some links shared just recently through email of some songs that we could sing. And hey, click on that, sing, get your mind there. An attitude of gratitude, right? So we see here David, he's going through despair, he's going through the stress, he's going through all these things in his life, yet he trusts in the Lord, he waits on the Lord, and he finds certainty in times of uncertainty. And we too can find certainty in times of uncertainty. These times that we're living are uncertain, but we have certainty in the Lord. The Lord has made promises to us, and we could take courage in that. We could be encouraged by that, right? And so the Lord is with us. So have an attitude of gratitude. Reach out to someone. Have somebody speak into your life. Have some kind of discipling relationship. It could be within your family. It could be within the family of believers. But have someone that you can lean on other than the Lord. Obviously, the Lord. We lean on the Lord and trust in the Lord. And trust in the Lord, right? And know that you are not alone. You're not alone in all of this. We're in this together, and soon we'll be back together in this room. And so I love you. I hope that this message has encouraged you, has brightened your day in some way. Know that God loves you. Know that God is with you. You're not alone. And pick up the phone, encourage someone else. Share that feeling of joy in the salvation of the Lord. So I love you guys. I can't wait till we're all back together. God bless you.